All right, let's dive into something really fascinating. What if male psychology wasn't just a bunch of random thoughts and feelings, but more like a sonar system? Constantly sending out pings and reading the signals that come back. That's exactly what we're going to explore today. We're decoding the invisible psychological signals that really drive motivation, attraction, and, well, a lot of behavior. So, this core idea is what we're calling the sonar system. Think of it like this. Deep down, a man's psychological state is always, and I mean always, pinging its environment. It's this nonstop subconscious scan of the world, and it's looking for two very specific, very critical signals to bounce back: competence and acceptance. And what exactly is this sonar listening for? Well, it all boils down to two fundamental, almost primal questions that shape just about everything, from how a guy focuses on a task to how he acts in a social setting. Ping number one is all about competence. Am I capable? And ping number two is about acceptance. Am I valued? These two questions are huge. Okay, let's break that first one down, the drive for competence. This is all about that constant internal question, am I capable? This is the ping that's always checking, can I handle this? Can I solve this problem? Do I have what it takes to deal with the world? And this isn't just, being good at video games or something. It's way deeper than that. It's a really deep-seated, almost biological drive. It's about feeling genuinely useful and capable. This can look like a lot of different things, like mastering a skill that actually matters, hitting goals you've set for yourself, being that calm person when everything's falling apart, or even just that gut instinct to protect the people you care about. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This drive for competence gets a massive boost when a guy feels genuinely needed. Not managed, but needed. There's a huge difference. If the sonar pings back a signal that says, I'm being managed or I'm being controlled, that internal engine just kind of powers down. It's like, okay, my input isn't really wanted here, and the motivation drops. You've probably seen this in action. This drive to master something can lead to what's called a deep focus state. It's that moment when someone is so locked into a task, fixing a car, writing code, whatever it is, that the rest of the world just disappears. Seriously, you could be talking directly to them and the words might literally not even register in their brain. It's not that they're ignoring you, they're just completely immersed. Okay, so that's competence, the first big signal. But the second one is just as important, if not more so in some situations. And that's the quest for acceptance. That second ping is always asking, am I valued? The sonar is constantly trying to figure out where you stand with your friends, your family, your tribe. And believe me, this goes way beyond just wanting people to like you. We're talking about a primal, hardwired instinct. Our brains are literally built to scan for microexpressions, these tiny, fleeting looks on people's faces, to figure out in a split second whether we're accepted or rejected by the group. It's a survival mechanism, really. Am I in or am I out? So this sonar gets incredibly good at decoding what we can call micro-approvals. You know what I'm talking about? That quick little half smile from someone or a tiny lift of an eyebrow? They're basically little green lights. They're signals that say, hey, it's safe, you can engage, you're good. But of course, it cuts both ways. The sonar is just as sensitive, maybe even more sensitive, to micro-disapprovals. The slightest hint of rejection, like a quick press of the lips, a tiny squint, or a barely there eye roll, that's a red light. And it can be enough to trigger an immediate social retreat. The brain just says, nope, abort mission. And get this whole process of social valuation isn't just about you and one other person. The group plays a huge role because of something called social proof bias. Basically, if other people in the group seem to value someone, we're automatically wired to value them more too. It's a shortcut. And sometimes this happens before anyone even speaks. It's about energy signatures. You can almost subconsciously detect a person's vibe, like their social Wi-Fi signal, the second they walk into a room. Okay, so let's put this all together. Where do we see this sonar system working overtime? Well, there's no better example than the world of attraction. This is like the ultimate testing ground, where both of those pings, competence and acceptance, are being sent and received at lightning speed. When there's attraction, the sonar system starts broadcasting all these unconscious physiological signals. For example, intense eye contact, that's a huge one. It's sending a clear signal of confidence and interest. Then there's pupil dilation. The eyes literally get wider to take in more visual information of the person they're interested in. The voice might even deepen subconsciously, which is a classic signal of higher testosterone and good genes.
And remember that protective instinct we talked about? It can show up here as territorial instincts, like standing a bit closer or putting an arm around a chair. It's an unconscious way of saying, this is valuable to me. This explains so much, right? It's why communication in those early stages can feel like you're walking on eggshells. The sonar is on maximum sensitivity, and there's this underlying fear that one wrong move, one awkward joke, one bad signal could just shut the whole thing down. Game over. But what happens when the system doesn't work perfectly? What happens when the signals get mixed up or distorted? Let's talk about when the sonar glitches. And this is such a modern glitch. You see it all the time. It's the offline mute personality. You know this person. They are hilarious, witty, and super confident over text or online, but then you meet them in person and it's like they become a real-life whisper. The sheer pressure of all that face-to-face sonar scanning just makes them shut down. I mean, it's a total personality split. Online, you're bold, you're expressive. Why? Because the digital world removes all those microsignals the sonar is designed to read. There's no eye contact, no body language. But in real life, with all that data flooding the system at once, they just clam up. And you can imagine, this creates some serious challenges, not just in dating, but in their career too. And here's another thing the sonar does. It's not just looking for good or bad signals, it's scanning for honesty. It has this incredible built-in detector for misalignment. It picks up on inauthenticity, like when someone is standing there trying to look super confident, but their eyes are screaming terror. The system is searching for a signal that's coherent, that makes sense. And what this all leads to is that signal integrity is everything. Authenticity is way more attractive and memorable than some kind of perfect but fake performance. People are drawn to someone whose vibe actually matches their reality. When the signal is consistent, it's a signal you can trust. So with all this fear of getting a bad signal, of being rejected, what could possibly be powerful enough to override all of it? Well, on the deepest level, there is one thing: the awareness of mortality. Seriously, remembering that our time here is limited, that's an incredibly powerful tool. That knowledge can be the ultimate push to get over the fear of failure and just go for it, to take real, meaningful action. So we've talked all about this sonar system, this constant pinging for competence and acceptance. And knowing all this, it really leaves us with a big question to think about for ourselves. What signals are you sending out into the world? And maybe even more important, do those signals actually match the person you truly want to be?